Morning, friends, and welcome to First Thing in the Morning. Here we are in Maryland, and it's crisp, beautiful. We've had some unusually great weather, and last night was also indicative that we were in Habit of Grace, and there was about 50 of us on the promenade, the boardwalk, just talking to people, talking to other human beings, and it was an amazing time. Finding souls that were hungry, that were open, and this is the thing that Jesus Christ came seeking to rescue those that were just lost, confused, more than confused. And I think the fact that we're not battling ideologies or, trying to persuade people out of error that we're any better, that, no, actually, I had this portion in John's Gospel, chapter 10 and verse 9. Jesus says this. He says, I am the door. I am the door. And what is the door? The door speaks of access, okay, not keeping people out, okay. It's an open door. It's a effectual door. It's an open heaven. Uh, this is not accomplished through striving or intellectual exercising and these sort of things. But when we go through the door, and the door is narrow, because he doesn't say any door or every door. He says, I am the door. Okay, so I come to Jesus Christ, and he's the one that gives me the access into this grace wherein we stand in this grace. And the idea is this. So it's a narrow door, but it opens up to a huge place. And this liberty, meaning not to do whatever we want to do, but we are no longer in the constraints of our problems, the constraints of our particular lifestyle, the constraints of our past. Things that have happened in our past no longer constrain us, they don't define us. The door gives us access to a whole nother identity, which is found in the person of Jesus Christ. And actually, we're going to talk about that Tuesday at convention, Tuesday morning in our workshop, this new identity that we truly have. And I didn't have to figure it out. Okay. Uh, the analogy is quite interesting, but when you were in your mother's womb, you grew until you couldn't grow anymore. And you had to be birthed, you had to come out. Okay. And even the process, the birth process, coming through the birth canal, very narrow. There was only room for you. And even if you were twins or triplets or quadruplets, whatever, you could only come one at a time. Okay, so here we go, and we are, coming through a very narrow uh, entrance into this. We were birthed into this large place called life on planet Earth, and it's huge. Now, now that we are in this large place, this is where the shepherding, the leading, the guiding in life begins to take place. And so the door becomes the shepherd, the means of access into this grace, access into the kingdom, access into life as God would have it to be lived. And how do we know that? Well, we see millions and millions of people doing all kinds of different things, and some end up with human good. Okay, they have a reasonable life. Others, many others, so many others in poverty or disease or wars or famine or circumstances that are not good. And even when they are in those bad situations, we look for people who have learned how to navigate and, be directed in those situations. And when we find that those who have not good situation, like Job, okay, and as he came through, he ended up with a double portion, twice as much as what he had before he got started. And this is not, God promising that you're going to have a successful from human viewpoint life, a lot of money, a lot of, happiness. It does mean, though, that you have a capacity, and that capacity is full of grace, full of mercy, full of love for not just God and not just yourself, but a love for others. And that's what kind of motivated us to show up last night and to share this life, because it's large, it's a large place. There's room for all who come by means of the doors. So as the Lord Jesus Christ is set before us, he is access, not rejection, not condemnation, not turning away, but no, access. And let's come to God by faith through the door, Jesus Christ, and be brought into this large place. And then having him continue to be the great shepherd, the one who will lead us and guide us in this life and the life to come. We have a larger place to go to. After, death is another door. It's another door, access to eternity. And when we go through that, and we will, unless you're raptured, we will experience the blessedness of now the Lord Jesus Christ being our our bride, we're the bride and he's the bridegroom in heaven, in eternity forever. This is our destiny. This is our promise. This is our life. This is what the scriptures reveal to us. And in each case, we are faithfully cared for, guided by the love of God. And it's amazing for us to be able to live this way. Thank you so much for these few moments. Weekend, this is Friday, okay? And we will have a outreach wrap tomorrow at about 9:45, 10 o'clock a.m. And then we're going to go into, well, we'll have our Sunday service. Happy Father's Day for those dads. And then we've got convention next week. So great things ahead, great things. Stay tuned, as much as you can. If you can get down to the campus for the International Convention. If not, then we'll broadcast as much as we can here, but you can get I would believe, all of the major sessions at ggwo.org, ggwo.org, and that's amazing. So thank you for prayers and everything that you were about. Don't forget Jesus. He's the door. He's the door.